pitch is almost irresistible. Shoot a photo once, upload it, and let it sell forever while you sleep. Build a library, the story goes, and it quietly pays your rent for life. The platforms behind that pitch are real and enormous: Shutterstock, Adobe Stock, Getty's iStock. But the average stock photo earns its creator about 2 cents a month. So the question isn't whether stock photography pays. It's whether it can ever pay enough to live on. We audited the real numbers behind going full-time on stock photos. First, define what full-time actually means here, because the marketing is slippery about it. It doesn't mean a few $100s a month in beer money. It means replacing a salary. Call it $40,000 to $50,000 a year after expenses, repeating year after year. Now the structural fact the whole question turns on. Stock photography is not one sale. It is a portfolio of tiny fractional sales. Each image, a lottery ticket that pays cents. Occasionally, a couple of dollars. Most often nothing in a given month. Your income isn't a great photo. It's the aggregate of thousands of them, each a trickle. That model can genuinely produce passive income. The hard question is whether the trickle multiplied across a realistic library ever adds up to a wage. The per download math answers it. Start with what a single download actually pays, because it's smaller than almost anyone expects. On Shutterstock, contributors don't earn a flat rate. They sit in one of 6 tiered levels, from 15% of the sale up to 40% at the top, and the meter resets to the lowest tier every January 1st. In practice, a royalty-free download lands between 10 cents and a few dollars. Adobe Stock pays a flatter 33%, roughly 33 cents a sale. But the figure that matters is the blended one. Across the whole industry, a stock image earns its creator about 2 cents per image per month, not per sale, per image, whether it sells or not. So a 1,000-image library, fully online, generates on the order of $20 a month. That is the engine you're being sold as a path to quitting your job. Now run that 2-cent figure forward to a living wage, and the scale becomes physical. To clear $50,000 a year, about $4,200 a month, at roughly 2 cents per image per month, you'd need a library on the order of 200,000 live, selling images. 200,000. Even shooting and keywording 100 usable images every week. That's a build measured in decades, not months. This is why the real full-timers aren't hobbyists with a nice camera. They are industrial operations. One frequently cited contributor, Danielle Carrer, uploaded nearly 49,000 images to Shutterstock alone. And even that library earned only about 6 cents per image per month. The trickle is real. The volume needed to turn it into a salary is staggering. Here's why those per image numbers keep falling. The shelves are buried. In 2009, Shutterstock's entire library was around 11 million images. Today it hosts more than 468 million, part of a catalog north of 770 million assets, and it adds over 700,000 new files every week. Adobe Stock's catalog approaches 1 billion pieces of content. You are not adding a photo to a gallery. You are dropping one more grain onto a beach of hundreds of millions, competing for the same searches at prices the platforms keep cutting to win subscribers. Supply exploded while demand grew slowly, and basic economics did the rest. The 2-cent average isn't a glitch. It is exactly what an oversupplied market pays. Then came the disruption that changed the math underneath everyone's feet. Generative image models can now produce a clean, on-brief stock photo in seconds at effectively zero cost, and they have poured into the agencies. By April of 2025, one analyst's audit found nearly 48% of the images on Adobe Stock were AI-generated. The platform now hosts an estimated 313 million AI images. Industry-wide, AI files have grown to roughly a third of all new uploads. Average licensing fees have fallen about 28% since 2024, and traditional photographers report revenue declines of 15 to 40%. This is the part the passive income pitch never mentions. The library you spend years building with a camera now competes against a machine that generates its rival in seconds, dragging the price of every download towards zero. Step back, and the same pattern has run through stock photography for 30 years. Every wave of cheaper supply crushed the per-image price. In the 1990s, royalty-free images on CDRO-M broke the old pay-per-use model that paid photographers handsomely for a single license. Then microstock arrived. iStock Photo in 2000, Shutterstock in 2003, and the price of a download collapsed from hundreds of dollars to cents. Now, generative AI is the third wave, pushing the cost of a new image towards zero. And the consolidation tells you where the value went. In January of 2026, Getty Images and Shutterstock announced a $3.7 billion merger. The agencies are still worth billions. The contributor's slice of each sale just keeps getting thinner. So who actually earns? Inside every portfolio and across the contributor base as a whole, the same brutal distribution shows up, the 80-20 rule, often steeper. Roughly 20% of your images generate about 80% of your earnings, and a small minority of contributors capture the overwhelming majority of the money. The rare full-timers are not better artists with luckier photos. They share a profile, massive volume treated as inventory rather than art, relentless attention to what actually sells, not what's beautiful, but what a marketer or web designer searches for. Ruthless keywording, because in a library of hundreds of millions, discoverability is the entire game, and consistent uploading to stay visible as the catalog churns. It is not a creative career. It is a high-volume commodity business that happens to use a camera. So, can you really make a full-time income from stock photography? The honest answer is yes, but for almost no one, and less so every year. If you picture stock as a creative side income that quietly pays the rent while you sleep, the data is blunt. A realistic part-time library earns a few $100s a month at best, and the average image earns about 2 cents. A genuine full-time wage requires a library in the hundreds of thousands of images, built like a factory and sold as a commodity. And it now competes against AI that generates its rival for free. The single sharpest filter is this: are you trying to be a photographer or to run an inventory business? Photographers who chase beautiful images starve in stock. The handful who survive treat it as supply chain economics, volume, keywords, search demand. And even they are watching the machine flood their shelves and the price of every download fall toward zero.